Hello. I hope everything is well with you. This is Dr. Jason Munsell, if you can see me. I'm moving to a different place in my parents' house, so hopefully you can see a little bit more of me, which is it's not a very good thing. Go Tigers. They're playing in about an hour, I think. It's 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and hope things are going well. I've looked over quite a few of the tweets and the blogs and the threads. Everything's looking pretty good. If you got like a little heart or like a like or anything like that, or some sort of comment, that's feedback. But I still need to look at a lot of them a lot more thoroughly. There's a few of you that are missing, a little bit AWOL. So if I've emailed you, hunting for you, hopefully you will email me back. But so far so good. Very pleased with what you're doing, with and all your work. What I would ask you to do, more than anything else, is the best way for me to help you when it comes to grades is for you to send me rough drafts of your papers. And that's one of the reasons why I have the new thread up for this week that I put up yesterday, which is all about your paper. So please take a look at that second thread if you haven't already. But please send me rough drafts. Remember this very first paper. I'm also going to try to sort of again model that paper. I'm doing a lecture. That's why I closed the door. I'll be right back. Father doesn't know best. So he's a former college professor, so he wants to listen, but in any case, send me rough drafts. And so remember that this very first paper is a genre analysis of a presidential speech. So you are to pick a specific speech that you think is a specific type of genre, and it does not necessarily have to be just the genres that we have covered. It can be, obviously, it can be an inaugural speech, it can be a State of the Union speech, it can be a eulogy, it can be war rhetoric, whatever. But also there are several other types of genres that are in the Campbell Jameson book that you can use. But then you have to have a thesis, so you have to actually read the speeches several times or watch them depending on the situation. You're not going to find any videos of Washington or Lincoln. But also remember that you need to figure out, you need to contextualize the speech a little bit and have a thesis. Do you think this was an excellent response to the situation? Did it fit the genre, or did it not? Was it a hybrid of sorts, or was it effective, or was it not? So you need to sort of evaluate the speech. So just like I gave you that example from last time, looking at the national eulogy that Obama offered during Sandy Hook. Can we say that was really an effective speech? I don't know. I sort of think not, because not a whole lot actually happened with gun control and everything like that. But you can come up with your own thesis about your own topic. But again, the best thing that you can do to help me help you is to email me a rough draft. And remember, these papers are due by the end of the day on Sunday. But please just let me know how I can help with that. So that's that. Blah, 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 blah. I think everybody's on the same page. Again, remember that a lot of this is this whole online distance learning stuff. A lot of it is up to you, since we're not having quizzes or tests. So my great hope is that you have been reading everything, looking at my notes, watching these lectures such as they are. And then obviously I've seen that you have been very active in social media, most all of you. There's again a few of you. Yeah. But in any case, okay, so what I'm going to do for the next several minutes is to talk about, I wanted to skip to war rhetoric, because I think the stuff on, where is it? The stuff on the State of the Union is pretty clear cut, and it's such a ritualistic speech. It's not terribly difficult to understand. So I have put new notes online for war rhetoric. I did that this morning, and then I emailed you. And so I'll say just a little bit about war rhetoric. One thing that you might want to remember is that you always have to go back to the Constitution. Remember that, the whole, at least Campbell Jameson's point of this entire idea of presidential rhetoric is this idea of the rhetorical presidency, is that the president, through his or her discourse, is constantly trying to frame the presidency in a particular way, frame the country in a certain way, but also always trying to gain more power as we sort of balance out these three branches of government. So, in a sense, the president has, throughout the history of this country, gotten a lot more power to do lots of different things, particularly with the military. So there's a lot of specific things that you can take a look at about what the Constitution can and cannot do. This is sort of the preface to the stuff in the first part and this is chapter 9, by the way, if you haven't read it yet. They do talk about the War Powers Resolution of 1973, and I'll let you take a look at that. But I mean, there's some really interesting things. Remember that Congress, they say, and this still holds true, has only officially declared war 5 times, but obviously we've had a lot more military interactions. Korea was never an official war. Vietnam was never an official war. Kuwait, Desert Storm 1 was never an official war. Desert Storm 2, Iraq, never official war. Afghanistan, never an official war. All the contemporary war on terror against Al-Qaeda and ISIS, all this stuff, not officially wars. So it's interesting how we still use military military action, our troops, and we call it war on terror, but it's not officially a war. So they also talk about Federalist Paper number 23, and I mean, there's just a lot of really specific things in there about what the Constitution says the president can and cannot do. But the long and short of it is that over the course of a long time, the president has been able to use military in lots of different ways without Congress actually declaring war on a particular country. And then sometimes, with the very nature of our contemporary relations with terror groups, whatever. I mean, they're not countries, and so sometimes it's hard to declare war when you have a war against a radical terrorist organization. So, but in any case, so there's lots of prefaces here. So then we get into the various elements. What? Yeah. President Washington wants to say something. Yes, this is President Washington. I didn't really talk like this, but I'm talking like this right now. I'm talking like this right now. What do you want to say to my students? President Washington, General Washington, Commander-in-Chief, I want to help them remember the elements of war rhetoric by coming up with an impromptu speech against a great threat, the biggest threat against freedom and liberty America has ever dealt with. Okay. So, what's this threat? ISIS Barbie. Or Al-Qaeda Barbie, it doesn't matter. This is a terrorist. See, I told you so. So, if you were going to give a speech, President Washington, offer war rhetoric, what would you do? Well, first, Dr. Munsell, I would talk about how my call for arms against ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Barbie was a product of thoughtful deliberation. I mean, we thought about this a lot. We deliberated about this a lot. And this is a last resort. It's been horrible. We've been trying to negotiate with ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Barbie to no avail. We have called upon other countries. We have called upon the Weebelows. Those are like pre-Boy Scouts, aren't they? That was a Weebelo. The Weeble Wobblers, I mean. We have called all the various Lego people and Star Wars figures and all that type of stuff, and we have tried and tried and tried, but to no avail. We cannot stop the terror of the ISIS Barbie without some sort of military interaction. This is the last resort. So, okay, yeah, we have thought about this and deliberated about this a lot. People don't like war. People don't like battles and killing and all that type of stuff. But there's nothing else that we can do. So, thoughtful deliberation. Okay, so this is the last resort. What else would you have to say in a speech like this against ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Barbie? Well, I have to offer a narrative of all the terrible things that has happened leading up to why I'm calling for military intervention against ISIS Barbie. Look at all the stuff that she has done. Watch this. She brutalized dogs and cats, and she look at her, look at this. After she brutalized the dogs and the cats, she went and look at these wonderful Lego people enjoying their wonderful yacht and just having fun. She's mean. She kicked the dolphins. See this Lego monkey? She kicked the monkey. She kicked the panda. And then she came over here. And then, look, there was this castle. And a little puppy was there. And she went, "Ah, I'm going to kill all of you. I am a radical person and I hate you." And then they came over here. And then she attacked random letters. Ah, and these other things. Cool. And then she drove off in her military vehicle that she bought in Texas. Oh. She has done a lot of bad things, and hopefully my use of narrative to narrate the terrible events has convinced you that indeed military